In this lesson, we are going to learn about properties of numbers, and this will help us in simplifying algebraic expressions. Remember to write down all the examples. Yes, Bing, I'm so sorry. There are more definitions to remember. Remember the words and what they stand for. Now here are 6 different calculations, and you'll see some of them will give you the same answer. And these are the type of properties that we are going to investigate. Operations with numbers have properties, like I said, namely the distributive, the commutative, and the associative. Guys, you must try to remember the words distributive, commutative, and associative. Right, Bing? And why do we need to know it again? So that we can fill up our math toolbox. The more things we know, the more tools, the more properties we know, the more and the easier we will be able to solve problems. 5 times 34. We can break that 34 into 30 and 4, am I right? And then we can multiply the 5 by the 30 and the 5 by 4. That is 150 plus 20, which is then 170. Just be careful. If we break it up, we have to write brackets around the 30 and the 4. Otherwise, order of operation states that you must first multiply, which is 150, and if you then add 4, it gives 154. So therefore, the brackets. Now, if we multiply the 5 by 30 and the 5 by 4, we say we distributed the 5 to the 30 and the 4, and that will give us the correct answer. So we can use it in algebra where we cannot calculate a bracket. Very useful. So we can multiply the 5 by the 3x and the 5 by the 4. That is then 15x plus 20, and the two terms are unlike. Remember, you don't have to write the multiplication sign. If there's no sign between the number and the bracket, it means multiplication. And you don't have to write that middle step. Just in your imagination, or just see 5 times 3x is 15x and 5 times 4 is 20. That was example 2. The word distribute means to spread out. The distributive property may be described as follows. A times the bracket is therefore AB plus AC, where A, B, and C can be any number. We may say multiplication distributes over addition. I can see that you've got a question, Bing. Very good question. So, does it work if there's a minus as well in the bracket? Let's test that. 5x times the bracket. Yes, we can distribute the 5x to the bracket if there's a negative inside the bracket. Then it will be 5x times 3x, subtract 5 times 4. You can also think of it as 5 times negative 4, and that gives you negative 20x. So this is then 15x squared and negative 20x. Remember, you don't have to write the multiplication sign, and you don't have to show that step. Just don't make a mistake. Remember to multiply the 5 times the 3 and the x times x. The 5 times the negative 4, and don't forget the x. The next property is the commutative property. Now this allows you to arrange 3 or more numbers in any sequence when adding or multiplying for any values of x, y, and z. So let's check it out. Any value. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 3 plus 2 plus 1. 1 times 2 times 3 is 2 times 1 times 3. I don't know what I said was z now. But you get the point, am I right? So when you add and multiply, you can swap or change the order. That's very useful. I love Ping if she asks these questions. Does it work for division and subtraction too? Let's see. 6 minus 2 is definitely not equal to 2 minus 6 because this is 4 and that's negative 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 divided by 6 is a third, so that's also not equal. So there's your answer, Ping. It does not work for subtraction and division. Write down example 5. Let's test this one. 6x minus 2 is therefore not equal to 2 minus 6x. However, if you think of this top expression as 6x plus a negative 2, there's a plus, then you can swap them around. Then you can say it's negative 2 plus 6x, but you cannot say it's 2 negative 6x. It's very useful in algebra not to say 6x minus 2, but rather positive 6x negative 2. Then you know you can swap the negative 2 and the positive 6x. 6x minus 2 can therefore be written as negative 2 plus 6x, okay, not as 2 minus 6x. 6x divided by 2 is definitely not 2 divided by 6x. This will give you 3x. This will give you 1 over 3x. Let us investigate further. Write this one down as example 6. So now the order of the numbers is exactly the same. So it's not the commutative property, but we group different numbers. In this first one, the brackets are around 5 plus 3, and there the brackets are around 3 plus 2. So will it give the same answer? Yes, because this is 8 plus 2 is 10, and that's 5 plus 5. It's also 10. However, if you subtract, and the order stays the same, but you change the grouping, then the answer will not be the same. This is 2 minus 2 is 0, and 5 minus 1 will give you 4. So it does not work with subtraction, poor subtraction, and poor division. It only works with addition and multiplication. So therefore we can say this: if we've got numbers in a certain order, but you change the grouping, then the answer will stay the same. It will also work for multiplication, but definitely not for division or subtraction. So let's just summarize. The associative property is when more than two numbers are multiplied or added, any two of the numbers may be grouped together, and the result of this pair can then be calculated first, and the answers will stay the same. It only works for addition and multiplication. So why do we have to know all these properties? Good question, Ping. It was the purpose of this whole topic is we can use these properties now to make calculations easier. And remember to fill up our math toolbox. The more we know, the more we can solve problems, and the easier it will be to solve problems. Okay guys, happy learning.